Hi everyone, it's Lesley Oman from Hungry Healthy Crafts, and today I have a happy new home card to share with you. This is for my colleague Oman, who has just got a house in Belfast, so I really must post this little guy to him. This card was inspired by this die set that I just picked up recently. This is the all prettied up die set, and this piece here is actually a box, but if you turn it upside down, I thought it looked a little bit like the roof of a house. And I've pulled out some stitched rectangle dies, and this one's just slightly narrower than the roof, so I thought that would work well. I'm also going to be using the frame that comes in the all prettied up die set. So I've ran a piece of watercolor cardstock through my Copic using the largest stitched rectangles die, and then I'm centering this scalloped edge die that is in the all prettied up die set, and I'm running that through my Copic again. So I have this really delicate frame, and I'm going to be using both the inside and the outside pieces today. To create the curve along the bottom, I'm using the Lawn Fawn simple stitched borders, and I'm going to have my house right in the middle here, but I'm also going to create almost like a circle aperture for the house to be within, and for that I'm using the circle die that also comes in the all prettied up die set. So this is what it's going to look like, so I can figure out exactly where I'm going to cut first, and that's going to be the ground or the simple stitched border die. So now that I have this, I'm going to set it to the side and move on to the next piece, and I'm going to next die cut the circle. I want to make sure that it is tall enough to fit the house, and this looks about right. So let's stick that down again with a little bit of washi tape. Now you may have noticed that I used the washi tape. I put it on my hand first of all a couple of times just to remove some of the stickiness, and that means that it's not going to pull up any of the paper when I remove it. With some leftover cardstock, I'm going to also die cut the little roof and the rectangle as well for the body of the house. So now I have the house, and I'm lining it up roughly where I want it to be, and I'll trim that down a little bit. But first of all, I'm going to grab my Sunday Strolls stamp set from Mama Elephant, and I'm stamping these onto some scratch pieces of watercolor cardstock using Memento Tuxedo black ink. I'm going to be using my watercolors today to color these little guys in. So that's why I'm using an ink pad. The Memento Tuxedo black ink I know that it won't smudge. Now I do have coordinating dies for this Sunday Strolls stamp set, so I'm going to run these through the Copic, and I've stamped and cut out some of the trees, both the small and the tall ones, a little bit of the grassy bits, and also the mailbox as well. To add some colour to these, I've brought over my craft mat, and I realised that I actually had enough paint on my palette just to add the colour, because it's such tiny little pieces. I didn't even need to open up my paint set at all. I used a water brush though, and that helped me reactivate the ink the paint that was on the palette. I'm bringing in a little bit of colour to both the ground, the top section of the ground, using some dye-based inks from Simon Says Stamped and a mini blending tool. And then for the background, I'm using some blue tones once again to bring some of the blue in. I'm really focusing on the bottom section and also all along the circular inside piece. I will be inlaying the remainder of the circle just to make sure that it's like a one layer card. So I really want it to pop against this blue. So I'm going quite heavily in along the inside of this circle and at the bottom edge here where it will meet the ground, but I'll blend that out a little. For the house, I decided that I would make it a darker blue color, almost like a navy blue. So let's ink this little guy up. And then for the roof, I'm using the Simon Says Stamp Stone ink, just to add a little bit of a grey, browny grey tone to this, so it looks like a roof. So I'm laying out all my pieces a bit like a jigsaw, just to get an idea of what it will look like. And I decided I wanted the bottom of my house to be curved so that it would sit perfectly against that curved grassy edge. So let's run that through the Cuttlebug again. And you can see also that I've laid out a couple of these trees. Now, when I looked at it, I decided that the trees were quite bluey green, but the grass was a yellowy green. So I brought back my palette and added a little yellow on top of my trees, just to make them blend in a little bit nicer with the grass. To bring some more of that blue color into the card, this really fine frame, I'm adding the same blue ink all the way around it, being very careful because it was very fiddly. So I've added some adhesive onto a note card, and then using a glue pen, I'm sticking on this little tiny frame. Sorry, my head got in the way there. It's pretty delicate, but the good news is that then it's really easy to position the rest of the pieces because it all just fits together like a jigsaw. So let's stick my roof on top of my house, and then I can stick that at the top of the mound. And I'm going to position my trees now. I'm using some glue dots with it for these. And the reason I'm putting these on first of all before the grass is that I'm going to tuck some behind my grassy knoll and some in front. I've added a few little pieces of grass at the bottom of the trees and also at the bottom of this mailbox. And I decided that I needed a homeowner. So I've taken out the year 2 belated birthday stamp set from Lawn Fawn and used the little turtle. Tortoise. So once again, I use my watercolors to color him in, and then let's run him through the Cuttlebug with the coordinating die, and he's ready to go just about here. And once I have him in place, I'm ready to move on to my greeting. So I've picked out a couple of stamps here. These are 2 stamp sets from Clearly Besotted, and I'm going to be using the one that says Sentimental Type, along with this Simon Says Stamp Sending Happy Mail stamp set. I've cut out the portion of the Happy Mail just so that I have the word happy, and I'm going to mix this cursive font with a more basic font. So it says Happy New Home. Once again, I'm using the Memento Tuxedo black ink simply because it was what was sitting on my desk. So I thought it needed a few little sprinkles of love. So I've taken the Monster Mash stamp set, also from Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to stamp a few of these little tiny hearts here. Color them in very quickly with some watercolors and die cut them as well, and then I can add them to the card just to bring a little bit more of that reddy color to the card. To finish it up, I thought it needed a little bit of a sparkle, so I've gone over Mr. Turtle and a few of the embellishments with the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush marker. So there you have it, a new home card for Eamon and Catherine. Well done, congratulations on your new home. Thanks so much for watching the video today. Please give me a big thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to see more of my crafty videos. And you can always hop on over to hungryhappycrafts.com to see more of my work. Bye, have a great day.